Hi, this is India with Bags and Lifestyle. Thank you so much for watching my video. Welcome back to my channel. If you are returning, welcome. If you're new, I talk about handbags, and then I also talk about lifestyle topics. So if any one of those things sound interesting, definitely consider watching this video, watching another video, and subscribing. But definitely like this video before you exit out to enjoy the rest of your YouTube journey. So today's video, as you can see from the title, will be over Italo. And I know they've invested a lot of money into going after influencers, which totally nothing wrong with that. I learned about Italo through a YouTuber's channel that I watch, and then decided to make a purchase. So I wanted to talk about it from kind of the customer perspective and my thoughts and opinions and experience with Italo. So hopefully you'll stick around. I will first cut away to the unboxing just in case you're here for that. You can watch that and then move on to something else. But if you do that, make sure you like this video before you leave. And then I will get into a little bit of details about the review, my customer experience after the unboxing. My Italo experience. So overall, first, I did mention at the beginning of this video that I did learn about Italo through another YouTuber, and then I sat on the idea of even purchasing from Italo for a long while. Italo definitely sells themselves as and presents themselves to the market as this affordable way to find beautiful jewelry. And they make, if you have not heard or seen Italo in person or seen a video on them, the base metal that they use, they said, is sterling silver, so 925. And then what they do is they take these lab created sapphires, and basically if you watch this, have seen it before, it looks more like diamonds. They kind of like shape them and create these rings and earrings and bracelets, I think, but I know definitely they have necklaces, and it looks more like kind of diamond jewelry basically. So you get kind of real jewelry but at a more affordable price point. And so that is the reason why I started looking into considering purchasing something from them. So sat on it for probably, after I first learned about it, a good 8 to 12 months after I first learned about it. So my idea with using Italo is that I wanted to pretty much find something that would help me figure out the third ring that I wanted to get to go with my wedding set. I switched out my original ring for these two bands, which I absolutely love. And when I did this, I didn't even know stacking rings was a thing, but learned that it was, and kind of wanted something very feminine, something flatter to the hand, something that was more representative of me, because most people would go for an engagement ring and a wedding band, and to have something like a non-traditional type of setting set was more so my style. So wanted to go with this, found this, loved it. And I always wanted to get a third band to go in the middle of the two bands that I had. I actually considered, you know what, let me just try out a third band through Italo, because that would be a more economical way to figure out what works with my ring set. If you haven't seen Italo prices, definitely check them out. They're very inexpensive. Like, some of the rings are as low as just under $100, and then you have some that are more like, I think, around the $125, $150, $200 mark, but they're always having sales and discounts. So it's very easy to get an affordable ring that's, like I said, made with lab created sapphires, and it's in a silver setting and all of those things. So anyway, fast forward, so that's what I decided to do. So Italo advertises a 60-day return window. Now, when you look at it, which you always should look at return policies for anywhere that you try, you also should research places too to make sure business practices and what people are saying. But anyway, their return policy did say that it was a 60-day window. However, you would be charged a small fee, which they didn't say how much, I don't think, but they did say that you would be charged a small fee for restocking your items. So I knew I would lose a little bit of my money. So I decided to purchase 3 rings that I thought would be the best fit with my bands, and try those on and figure out which one I wanted to replace it with. So let me quickly show you the one that I decided to replace it with. Let me take these off and then kind of like, so this is the band that I decided to replace it with, which is the offset pair, I think is what this one's called. So this is what it looks like. I think it's gorgeous and really pretty, and it doesn't go all the way around. It's just a half setting, however you want to describe that. But this one was a great height. Let me just show you how I plan on wearing it when I'm out, so you can see. So this is how I plan on wearing it when I'm out, just with one of my bands and then the other one on the bottom. I think it has a nice pizzazz and has a nice amount of just a little zhuzh to it. This band could absolutely, as you can see, be worn by itself, but I love this look, and we're going to go with this. So we're going to play around with this, see how I like this, and then work our way towards getting a ring made like this. Now, I do want to talk about the return policy with, I was about to call it Azure. I have no idea why, but Italo. So, first off, I did do some reading through Reddit, did some research, as well as checked out a couple of other people's videos. So, when I did read the reviews on Reddit, there were mixed reviews, I will definitely admit. I saw people where they said through, I don't know if it was on Reddit or somewhere else, but I did see reviews where people did sing praises of Italo and say, really, really great quality, lasted, all of those things. And then I also saw people, which actually it wasn't even, when I look at reviews too, I see how long ago they were, because that kind of tells you whether there's more relevance to it, I feel like. If it was 3 years ago and they said they did a horrible job versus somebody said 3 weeks ago they did a horrible job. And I will say they had recent reviews around the time that I ordered the ring, and people were saying the ring looks nothing like the picture. And you could see like the photo that they showed, and then they showed the photo from the Italo website, and they definitely missed the mark. But I will say this ring, and then you had people, you know, that, like I said, that said they had a good experience. So I do, just to be fair to Italo, will say it does seem like they have some growing pains to go through. It seems like maybe a better job with quality control is where they need to go and look into that a little bit more, so that way they can repeat the same positive results versus it kind of being all over the place. So that's one thing that I did want to mention. Now this ring, like I said, putting it up close again so you can see it, it looks definitely exactly like the website. Absolutely like the website. Someone did mention that their stones were falling out. I don't wear this every week because I work from home, and I don't wear my rings inside the house. That's just not me. So I would have to give you an update later if that ends up happening. Obviously, if something fell out of this, it would make a big difference because these stones are pretty big. So it would make a lot of difference. But anyway, so just definitely read up and make the best decision off of whether you want to go with them or not. Now, with their return policy, like I said, it is a 60-day return policy, which I appreciated because I really wanted to really make a decision and figure out what I wanted immediately. Like I said, with one of them, I said, okay, this doesn't even work because they weren't even the same height. And then I took about a week and a half after I got my item. And let me just rewind back really quick. From the time I ordered it and it shipped to when it came to my doorstep, it was, I wrote it down here, 14 days. The items are coming from China, okay? They are coming from China because I saw the cities that, and it was like 2 different cities I saw in China. So they are coming from overseas. So it's going to take some time. And when it gets here, it has to go through customs. So from there, then passed over to another delivery company to send it. And it wasn't DHL that delivered it. It was, I think the post office brought it to me, actually. If I remember correctly, either the post office or UPS. I think it was the post office. But anyway, so it took 14 days from the date of shipment. So that's the date I got the email that said it got shipped to get to my doorstep. So thankfully, their return policy does not start until the date of delivery. So definitely, like I said, make sure you're paying attention to anybody's return policies. You have some places that will say it starts from the date of shipment. Or the way that it's worded, it sounds like that at least. So that makes a difference, especially if they were to start from date of shipment instead of date of delivery. Absolutely helpful. So, like I said, got it and took about a week and a half to really sit on it and determine what I wanted to do, which one I wanted to keep. Made that decision and then decided to contact Italo, which you have to contact them via email to get approval to return it. And this is where I will say I learned that I have been taking hassle-free returns for granted. I have always, and even with small stores or whatever, I have not had to negotiate to send my item back, basically, is how I felt after this experience. So any place that I bought from before, whether small or large, they either send me a return sticker in the mail automatically so I can send it back, or I will contact them, I send them an email, and they email me right back, and they say, yes, go ahead and send it to this address, and tell me the information on how to send it, and we'll take it back. No questions asked, no issues, just, sure, sorry, it didn't work out, we'll take it. With Italo, it's not that way. Now, I understand this is a business, and a lot of places don't even want to take returns and deal with returns. Why? There's accounting things that have to be taken into account. That's a loss of revenue for them. So I understand on the business side why you really don't want to take returns. But in order to be in business, you really kind of need to take returns because that's what the expectation is nowadays, pretty much. So, or it makes it harder I would say harder to make a sale, honestly, as a person who sold items as well as a customer. So I know it from both sides. All right. So like I said, 14 days delivery time. So moving on. So I did email them. It took them a couple of days to email me back. I would say probably about 2 days to email me back. Obviously, the time zones are different. And when I told them that I did want to return 2 of my items, they responded and asked me which ones. So I told them which ones, and they also asked why. So I told them, the other 2 didn't work out for me, and I wanted to return them. So I would say on average, I got a response back through my email conversation with them, probably it was like a 2-day delay. So then I emailed them back, and I waited a couple of days, got a response back, and they said, well, instead of we're sorry, basically the typical, we're sorry it didn't work out, right? But then on top of that, then they said, let me see, they offered for me to keep the item, to keep everything basically, and they would give me a $90 credit. I'm looking at my notes here so I can remember. So they would give me a $90 credit, which could go towards earrings. So pretty much, we'll give you a $90 discount. You can buy another item, and basically, don't send us your stuff back because we already charged you for it anyway, right? So it's just like kind of salesy kind of wording to make it seem like it was a great offer. And I was like, no, thank you. So I emailed them back and said, no, thank you. I still want to return my items. Then 2 days later, I got an email again. Response back where they said, well, how about you keep them? Mind you, they're not saying keep them for free. They're saying keep them because, you already paid for them. And we'll give you a $40 discount. So basically $40 off of what I already paid for them. And I responded back because at this point I was thinking, okay, I hope their tactic is not to kind of stretch out the time that you're saying I can send it back to you within this 90-day window, this 60-day window. What I mostly was concerned with is if I had to send this item all the way back to China, I had to count an extra 14 to 15 days to make sure it made it back to them, which cuts into my 60-day return window. So you get what I'm saying? Like, I was getting more concerned with that. So after the second correspondence, I just I was not rude, always professional, but I was a little bit more firm so that way they could understand. I wanted to make sure I was conveying to the person, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but I just want my money back. Don't send me any more offers, was kind of what I was trying to convey. So I don't remember exactly what I said, but I basically said, thank you for that offer. And then I totaled up the 2 rings that I wanted to return. And I said, these 2 rings cost $249 and change. I said, these rings cost $249 and whatever the change was. And I just said, I would just like my money back. So that way I try to convey, don't send me another email about an offer. Just give me the information so I can send you this item back. So then after I did that, they did respond back and say, and that one came pretty quick. I think it was like a day later. And that person said, well, here's the address. Now, the address was thankfully not in China. It actually was in the United States. So it was a distribution center, I'm assuming, in New Jersey. So I was like, okay, great. At least it'll get there really quick. Now, the part that seemed a little shady to me is, this video is going to be long. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to be very detailed in case, you guys are wondering. I really want to give as much detail as possible. So sorry, y'all. Hopefully you're enjoying it and you think it's helpful. Anyway, so the part that was shady to me was in the last email that came to me. I have my email pulled up and I want to read you exactly so you can hear the words yourself. All right, so it just says, we suggest you to return the items within 7 days by local postal service, for example, USPS, rather than expedited shipping, claiming less than $10 value to avoid any possible tax. So that's the exact words, not customs and duties, just they said any possible tax. Under conditions that items should be unworn, unwashed, unaltered, undamaged, clean, and in original packaging. And then they gave me the address. And then they also said, please note, please send us the tracking number and the carrier so we can refund you when you get it. And then basically they went on to say, really sorry that our product did not satisfy you. Sincerely, we will try our best to make it better. Thanks for ordering, and we hope you can give more comments and suggestions. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us, and we'll reply within 24 hours. And then it had the person, best regards, and then sign the person's name. So that's why I wanted to read it exactly. So I'm not paraphrasing and adding in my own interpretation. So they didn't say customs and duties, but they said additional tax. I don't understand what they mean by additional tax. I'm assuming maybe they meant it'll be more expensive if you ship it through like UPS or DHL or FedEx versus the postal service. But more so, I had a problem with them telling me to claim the value for less than $10. So I want to talk about that for a second in case you did not know. All right, so if you ever had, anyway, so when you are responsible, like you as the customer, are responsible for shipping the item to that person that's getting it, you are responsible for that item. And by that I mean if it's lost, if it goes missing, it's on you, which means that if you're waiting for your money to come back to you because you're sending a return, the company's not going to refund you if they say they never got it. So me valuing this item at $10, and it was valued at 200 and let me just scroll down here. I added it up. It was like 250 some odd dollars. So that means that because I'm the person who took it to the shipping service and sent it, if it doesn't get to them and I listened to them and claimed it for under $10, if something happened to that package, I lose my money. Italo is not responsible because they didn't ship it to me. I was shipping it back to them. So I don't like that is in that email, and I think that sounds very shady. Honestly, it just sounds very shady, does not sit right with me. So I wanted to say that in case anyone is in the if you're sending something back to them, or anyone for that matter, and you claim it for the total amount. And for me, I prefer to ship through UPS just from prior experience. So for me, I didn't care. I paid I think it was like $20, like maybe like somewhere between $13 and $17. So let's just round that up and say 20. I paid $20 for the full declared value, so that I told them it was the package was worth $250, and I paid through UPS. So I was comfortable making sure, knowing that it would get there when it was supposed to, and nothing would happen to it. So at the cost of losing $250 if I declared it for less than $10 and nothing happening to it, versus paying the full amount for what it was worth to add the extra insurance, it's worth it to do that. So just do that. Please definitely do that. All right. Because saving a couple of dollars in the long run could end up being drastic. Overall, what are my opinions? I think the packaging, the way that the items are presented, as well as the value for money that you get and the quality of the piece, I think Italo does a great job, and they always have sales. So on that customer initial experience I think Italo is a great way to go. On the other side, would I hesitate to purchase from Italo in the future? Yes, I would. Does that mean I would not purchase from Italo in the future? No, it does not mean that. It more so means that if I'm looking at something on their site, and let's say I'm trying to decide between two pieces, I would really try to just make my best guess effort to go with the one that I feel the strongest about, and hope that one works out the way that I want it to, because I don't want to go through doing the email back and forth. I understand from a sales tactic how that could be more beneficial, obviously, through Italo, because people would just feel like, whatever, it's just, if they buy one piece right and it's $100, they're like, whatever, it's just $100, I'll keep it, which means that they keep their revenue. They don't have to have somebody repackage it. There's extra cost in it, like, right? There's a person that has to get it back. There's a person that has to inspect it. Also, they gotta, put it back on the shelf. They also have to, change their accounting, their inventory. All of that is a factor, and that costs more money, and then they have to give you your money back. But that also is why they charge that restocking fee, to account for that. So I'll leave that at that. Now, overall, I would say my experience with Italo, as far as like the overall experience from A to Z, I would say would be a B-, because I think the beginning end of it, the user experience, getting the item, I think that went really well. And the last part of it kind of left a hesitation, I would say would be an accurate way to describe it. A little bit of a hesitation, especially me knowing that, you got to kind of jump through a little bit of extra hoops and be persistent with returning your item. They did credit me my item back pretty quickly. It arrived, and I want to say within a day or two, I had gotten an email back from PayPal saying you were refunded your amount of money. So they did really return it and give me my money back really quick. So I do appreciate that, and think that does help with the overall user experience. So definitely let me know if you have purchased an item from Italo, if you're thinking about it. I hope this information helped you. This video was extra long, but I really wanted to be detailed and give you the overall experience from A to Z. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you come back for another video. I love videos every Wednesday and Saturday, and they're released at 8 a.m. Eastern time. All right. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.